2:05 this afternoon, I got an email from the Ohio Municipal League with regard to a bill which should concern us greatly. It's House Bill 602, is introduced by Representative Mike Duffy of Worthington, which would preempt municipalities from setting water rates for political subdivisions to which they have extended water and sewer services, and it would limit those rates to what the residents of Avon Lake pay. In other words, we could not charge anything more than what we are charging our residents. A summary of the bill establishes the following penalties on a municipal corporation that charges higher sewer or water rates to property outside the municipal corporation than the property within the municipality. A 20% reduction in the municipality's local government fund distributions, and renders the municipality ineligible for state water and sewer development assistance. It establishes the following penalties on a municipal corporation and imposes certain conditions against another subdivision before furnishing water or sewer service to the property. Forfeiture of all municipality local government distributions, and again renders the municipality ineligible for state water and sewer development assistance. So basically, it's a penalty for communities like Avon Lake. With Avon Lake Regional Water, we do charge people 10% more than what it costs the residents of Avon Lake, and there are reasons for that in terms of helping to fund the operation and also helping to pump water all the way down to, in the case of water, all the way down to Polk Township in Ashland County and into Medina County in some areas. So this would create a really different financial environment for the city of Avon Lake and Avon Lake Regional Water. I did send an email to Representative Manning and then Senator Manning, and I called both offices, leaving messages with the aides that this is something that greatly concerns us. Mr. Danielson has been apprised of it, as has Sewer Committee Chair Fender Bosch and also Council President O'Donnell, and also Mr. Dwanzik. So Todd was also going to contact appropriate people with regard to that particular concern. At the mayors and managers meeting last week, Dave Kidder from Republic Services was there, and he was talking about a very changed situation with regard to recyclables. For decades, China has been the largest importer of the world's recycled commodity. In the U.S., it was 20% of the inbound stream. In 2017, China announced efforts to clean up the country, which included dramatic changes for acceptance criteria for imported recyclables. Before 2017, they would accept bundles of paper that were no more than less than 3% contaminated, which means with clean paper, like you're reading your notes from, it could have no more than 3% of contamination, things like cardboard or other extraneous stuff. They have reduced that now to 0.5%, which is very, very difficult to achieve. The city of Avon Lake recycles, and we have bins in various places in the community, in the building, and we do fill it up, and that's almost pure white paper, so that's not a problem. But it is a problem for communities like Avon Lake recycling any paper and getting any credit for it. Additionally, China banned all mixed paper from import regardless of contamination levels. And that was historically 20% of the historical stream, and that took place in March. 20% of what we have been throwing out has been mixed glass. That's all gone. Then he lists something as residue. That's general waste. But aluminum cans are 1%, metal scrap 1%, steel cans 4%, mixed paper and bale 37% is paper and 22% is glass. So you can imagine what the cutbacks are. Then there are a series of plastics, and there are various kinds and so forth. So anyway, we're looking at a changed environment with regard to recycling, and it's kind of discouraging because we've done so well in trying to recycle those products or the items that our products come in. One thing that was very positive, and we are moving towards accepting recyclable clothing at the curb, and Mr. Kidder said that was really good. Anything you threw in the recycle bin that was closing also ended up in the landfill because it would get dirty and contaminated with things that might have been in the containers. If you can imagine everything being scrunched and crunched down, all that just got dumped. Now at least those pieces of clothing have a chance to be recycled as rags or recycled as wearable clothing and so forth. So it's sort of gloom and doom, but we're going into another era in this whole process. And I know Mrs. Fenderbosch has some comments to make on this, so I will pause, if you wouldn't mind, Mr. Council President, let her comment before I proceed.
Mrs. Fenderbosch.
Thank you. This is just very, very current because last week, two of us from Avon Lake actually were at the MMAC, that's the Materials Management Advisory Commission in Columbus, with Ohio EPA, and the room was packed with people not only from Republic, but from many of the other waste haulers that you know all their familiar names. Also, there were many, many people from the different landfills and the solid waste districts, along with scientists and environmentalists. And we had a national conference call that lasted an hour and a half with Recycle Partners, because what the state is trying to do, and I understand that we have a contract with Republic. I understand that they have painted this picture for the mayor, but not everyone is as doom and gloom as that particular picture came out to be. There's something that each of us can do. And what we can do is we can clean our recyclables. Before you pitch that mayonnaise jar, wash it out, put it in. That's one form of a contaminant. A second form of a contaminant is throwing clothing or shoes in with your recycling. We don't recycle clothing or shoes, as the mayor has said. And when you throw those things in, not only do they become soiled and all of that, but they actually break the sorting machines, which costs a lot of money. And when a truck goes into the area where they're going to be doing the sorting, if they find that there are items in there that are not on the recycling list, the entire truck goes then to the landfill, and the city has lost what could be possibly grant funds. The reason why we were meeting with Recycling Partners is that the state of Ohio is putting together some funds that they're also going out to some industries with in the area to bring larger funds to come to cities such as Avon Lake and to spend time educating our people in what is a clean recyclable and do not contaminate. That's the number one thing, do not contaminate. So what are the number one things? People put plastic bags into their recyclables. Plastic bags are not recyclable. So put your cat litter in there, put it into the trash, but don't put them inside the recycling bin because it breaks the equipment. The second thing that they should be putting in are styrofoam. Do not put styrofoam because it's not recyclable. There are other sources to purchase glass. Belgian brick depends on the crushed glass, Mayor, in order to make their sparkly brick, for example. And there are others. So you're going to be hearing more about grants that are going to be given out to cities. Avon Lake is actually one of the cities that is being considered for this Recycling Partners Education Program. So if you want to continue to recycle, keep it clean and dry. Thank you.
Also, from the Lorraine County Public Health, they're going to have a mock emergency, and they need bodies. They need people to pretend they are ill, affected by disease, affected by all kinds of catastrophe. This is going to take place on July 12th, anytime between 12:30 a.m. to 12 p.m. And at Ewing Fieldhouse and Lorraine County Community College, residents and visitors of all ages, children under 18 must be accompanied by a parent. And if you arrive at the field house, there's no pre-registration. They will put you into a particular role. Some of you will be getting medical dispensing. Others will be in line filling out paperwork, pretending to do it. And this will help them be prepared for an emergency situation.
Then we discussed about listing some of the vacant land and space throughout Avon Lake on Avon Lake's website and Facebook page. Ted Esborn requested the services of CoStar. It's a real estate software that would be useful to him to make sure that all the properties are up to date. So he will be getting that software. We used a previous software that went out of business, so that is an expense that we had budgeted for this year.
Thank you. A couple weeks ago, Law Director Lieberman and I and our legal counsel, Mr. Funk, met with legal counsel from utilities with Mr. Dwanzik and Mr. Danielson, and we were able to work an understanding moving forward. And there were a number of things discussed, and it turned out to be a very positive meeting. And one way to put some of the unsavory things from the past behind us would be for us to vote for this. City Council does maintain the legislation clarifying the charter relevant to this situation with regard to utilities. And it is important for us to vote for this in order for the auditors to accept the then and now nature of some of these payments. We had money then, and we have money now to pay for this. So Mr. Presley was adamant on this because he's the one who has his feet in the fire if these things aren't done according to the proper procedure established by the auditors and the state auditor. So this is an important part of ending a bit of a dust-up we've had with utilities. At the same time, there's been incredible progress in the city with improvements in the infrastructure. And the utilities has achieved recognition at the state level, and they now have been nominated by the Ohio EPA to the national EPA for an award with regard to their lateral program, the loan program, and also the incentive on the water and sewer bills for 10 years, $25 a quarter. So we're moving forward, and once this is approved, we'll be on our way to a positive relationship with Avon Lake Regional Water. Thank you.
After I talked to some residents recently in the summer months here, it seems that people are still a little confused about when bulk pickup is, and there's been discussion about the weekly bulk pickup that you can pay more for. I just want to defer to Bill Wright, if maybe if you can just remind people what it is and what the options are.
Mr. Royce?
Yeah, thank you. Residents have an option to purchase a bulk weekly unlimited pickup. It's an additional, if you have a 96-gallon cart right now, it's an additional $24 a quarter, so an additional $8 a month to literally throw away unlimited bulk, anything and everything, every week. So that's but that's an option that people need to call in order for themselves. I know you get frustrated with talking to the customer service people because they don't always understand that Avon Lake is unique in having that option for residents. So if people do have comments or questions or don't feel that the customer service people are giving them all the information, they are free to call me at 930-4101, and I will gladly put them in touch with a local person to arrange those and make those special arrangements. But that is an option that residents have to choose for themselves if they are willing to pay the additional $24 a quarter. Thank you.